everybody, what's happening? It's Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Yes, another day. We out here, we getting in, we doing what we gotta do so we can get to where we wanna be and not have to do none of this courier stuff no more. And that's gonna happen because of you. That's gonna happen because of you. You who are part of my monetization nation. I ain't talking to everybody. I'm only talking to the ones who have already hit the subscribe button, officially have subscribed, and actually help us in our strides. Like, meaning they watch content. They don't just subscribe and walk away and ain't looked at it and forgot that they even were subscribed here and everything. No. You're actively on here. You be watching. You be seeing stuff. You be in the lives. You miss the lives. You watch the shows. You watch the content that we put out, the long content, not just the shorts. I appreciate y'all watching my shorts. Matter of fact, speaking of the shorts, I done seen how y'all showing love. I did all these clips, broken up clips into shorts from my latest video. Well, latest video from yesterday, because I had another video I posted today, long video about the IGFA, officially calling them out. We're gonna stand on that. I'm gonna tell y'all about that in a minute, but back to my main other video. New bass record. Went fishing with Dad. All right, me and my dad went out, me and Pops hit out, as we hit a spot that I love, one of my favorite of all time. It's my favorite pond. That is my pond, I call it, because it's a very special space. It's the place where I caught my biggest ever largemouth bass, which now that I have a reference from a bass that he just caught, I can honestly say I know that one that I caught was at least 6 pounds, if not 6 or 7. Could be 8. I don't know. I'm gonna stick to about 7. I'm gonna claim 7. I think my biggest ever was about 7 pounds. But this was a 5.84. I'm just going to say 6. You know what I mean? 6 pound bass. My dad, man, caught that out there out there at the pond the other day, and that was just absolutely phenomenal. The video is phenomenal. If you ain't seen it yet, check it out. It's making numbers. And we want the video to do as much as the shorts to do it. The shorts are going crazy because, I'm getting the best clips of the fish itself. Me going crazy when I saw it for the first time because, I'm not going to tell y'all the story. There's a unique situation I'll put it like this. I did not, unfortunately, get the full catch. I only got the aftermath of my dad standing there with the fish, and we going through the whole weigh-in and everything like that. But there's a reason for that, and you had to watch the video to understand why I wasn't able to get the actual catch moment. I wanted to, I really did. I wanted to cover the whole thing, but man, anybody that knows about fishing, when you out there, like, stuff happens when you least suspect it, that's when you're gonna catch something crazy. It's just like, it goes like that. So that was one of them days where I literally, like I said, I'm not gonna get into detail. I want you to watch the video, but I came back from something I had to do, and my dad's standing there with this massive, beautiful creature. He got this bass, man, largemouth, and that meant a lot to me because my dad's favorite fish is definitely a largemouth, and of all the species he's ever caught, that's his one. And he loves all kind of fish, and he'll fish for anything, but he loves him a largemouth. He definitely got that southern thing flowing hard through his veins, and it's a very kind of a unified southern thing of folks loving largemouth. It's one probably you ask anybody from the South, they're gonna say, whether they fish for them or not, they're gonna say, oh, that's the most sought after fish. Like it kind of goes largemouth. I would say crappie might be next in line, honestly, just because people love to eat crappie and they're fun to catch and beautiful fish, but they're fun to catch and they taste great. So then crappie. Brim is just automatic. I always say brim is just default. You're going to get them whether you expect to get them or not, depending on what you're fishing with. If you got anything live out there, brim might hit it, Hell, I done caught a brim crazy enough on a plug. Now, that's not common. They don't usually hit lures, but it's possible. You get the one big enough and bad enough, they'll do it. And that was at the lake when that happened years ago. And I don't even know if I had a YouTube channel back then when that happened. I don't think I got that on camera. Yeah, I don't think I was filming back then. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah, man, my dad got this new one. Classic fish moment. And I was really happy about that because, your parents getting up in age and everything, You know, you cherish every moment you got with them, and I'm blessed to have both my parents, you know what I'm saying, they're in their 70s and 80s. No, I didn't get specific, Mom, because, you know, ladies don't want you to. But nah, yeah, they up there, and I'm proud to know that, you know, I got both of them in my life, and I know how much of a, you know, universe blessed that is for them to still be, because so many people are not. And let's face it, I mean, we losing people in their 50s, and I'm knocking on the door of 50, so I don't take for granted any of my time, and I expect to be here. I want to be here till 100 if I can be. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, like it was one of them things where it was like a place that I kept telling my pops about for years, and we used to hit the lake more so than anything because he loved going to the lake, and I do too. I love the lake. We hit West Point. I don't mind saying that. I mean, I don't give specific spots per se. Now, if somebody know these lakes and everything, and you watching our videos, I know where that is. Okay, good for you. Shit, it's a public space, great. But I tell you one thing, ain't nobody about to give up the coordinates of where the pond is, or even where my favorite creek is. Like, if you know, if you fish that area, you know. As simple as that. But lucky you. But no, the reason why I protect that, and I want to make it very clear that I'm using the word protection. It ain't gatekeeping. Gatekeeping to me is when, you know, there's an absolute lack of something, and somebody who has all the benefits, all the cards, basically has a monopoly on something, is purposefully not allowing other demographics to have the benefit of this thing that should be universal to all humanity. See, that's the difference. See, when you fish, everybody don't like to fish. You know, everybody don't like to go fishing. Everybody don't know how to go fishing or care to go fishing. So it's not something everybody got to do. But there are certain things that are just innate that everybody has a right to, like civil rights, you know what I mean? And certain opportunities and things that you've made a system where people have to do certain things to get ahead, or have to do certain things just to eat and survive. Well, okay, so if you're holding back information on how people can do that, and you let some people do it and other people not do it, now that's gatekeeping. I want to make it clear, because people throw these words around nowadays. You know, oh, that's gatekeeping. No, that's not not when it comes to fishing spots. Fishing spots, that's what I call conservation. Like, I'm literally protecting spaces that I know where some beautiful fish are, that I don't want everybody over there because they don't know how to protect it. They don't know how to treat it right. You know, even where I'm talking about. Hold on one second, y'all. Okay, we good. Let me see if it's rolling. There we go. There go my time. Okay. You know, even when I'm talking about, like, when you fish like I do, like I say, you know, at the pond and stuff, I hate that some people think it's just perfectly normal to go out and leave trash on the site where they fish. That's disgusting. And that just shows you really are super irresponsible, do not respect the rest of nature. And no matter how many times certain ad campaigns on the positive side of progressive and eco-conscious order try to tell people, stop littering, do not litter, do not let things go into our waterways. Because, like, every time you throw something out your car and it hits the street and it goes into a drain, some people literally think these sewage systems are just self-contained. No, they flow into freaking rivers. Okay? They all go into rivers more than likely. I promise you. If you don't believe it, look up the fact. It's just a fact. It's common knowledge if you care to know. But and then a lot of the drain holes, at least where I live, they'll have a little fish icon on the manhole, and it'll say, protect the waterways. Like, watch what you throwing in, because whatever goes down here is gonna end up in the river. And if you're somebody who likes anything outdoors, for example, I said anything. Well, you may not like fishing, but maybe you like paddling, you like canoeing in the Chattahoochee River and stuff. And there's a lot of people like to do that. Well, guess what? your damn soda cup and all that, like all of the mess, the residue, some medicine, some nasty, anything you can imagine a person would throw out and let be just trash on the street can end up in the waterways. And these rivers are connected to, most of the time, are connected to ponds, because the ponds typically are mainly three ways. Either man-made ponds from groundwater, well water, or they'll be river connected or stream connected, creek connected, which all that flows back to a river or is connected to a river and all of that, depending on what position in the vein system, because rivers are like veins, you know what I'm saying? They're like veins and capillaries spreading through the earth. So all this stuff connects. And if you're throwing like literally toxic waste out the window, even folk who smoke damn cigarette butts and stuff like trash like that, if it accumulates to enough, it is going into the water system. And then basically, you know, if you like to eat fish or what have you, what you think you're doing to the water? What you think you're doing to the fish? What you think, you know what I'm saying? It all adds up, people. It all adds up. And then it's like, for some people who like really take for granted the ocean. My gosh, the ocean, that's the final frontier of hope for all of us. And yet, people destroying that. You know, if you ever seen that new special Ocean on Disney Plus with the legend David Attenborough. David Attenborough, who is now 99 years old. Can you believe David Attenborough is 99 years old? Oh my God. But David is doing his voiceover and he's talking about the oceans of the world. And I, for one, find it to be quite fascinating to listen to David Attenborough. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, check that out. Check that out. But, man, so like I say, going fishing at ponds and stuff, you get a unique experience because it's usually a closed off environment where there's, depending on what it's connected to and what species are native, and if it hasn't been, you know, human transplanted with stuff that ain't supposed to be there, natural species or whatever will proliferate. And the one that I love, where I took my dad to get to this amazing bass, is known for nothing but bass and brim. That's it. Ain't nothing there but bluegills and, you know, a couple of variations of bluegills and nothing but, and who is that? My man Harold Blackwell in the house. What's up, fam? Yes, sir. What's happening, man? Oh, man. Pops told me, I don't know if you talked to him direct, but he told me something about you must have hit him up trying to find out where and everything. Yeah, man, you know, hit me in the DM on Instagram at ONYXCON or at ONYXCON Outdoors. Either one of those. And I'll let you know the area, but you got to promise some things if I'm going to let you know that, man, because for real, we got to protect these spots for real. Okay, he sent you the pic. That's what's up. Good stuff, good stuff. No doubt, man. Yeah, man, we was out there, man. That's the first time Pops had caught one like that, he told me, in 10 years. I was real proud to put him on that. Real proud. And it took a minute because, yes, sir. Like, he hadn't been to a pond in a minute, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he's at that point now where, you know, he can still get on the boat, but we got to get some things right on the boat. We got to fix some stuff up. And it's all, you know, it's financial in this time, as everything is. But when we get that right, we got some other stuff I want to do. And I told him, I said, I want to get him on the river. Now, being on the river is a complete different thing. And he's done all of it. Like, you know, ain't nothing he ain't done. He done ocean, river, creek, you name it. My dad done it. You know this. But he's real particular about the safety and everything. I get it. You got to be. You should be. You better be. You better be. Like, I had to learn, like, from doing it on shore. I've been fishing off the river on shore now since the pandemic. That's when I started my process of learning the river. And I love it. It's just a totally different environment. It's so unique. But you got to be real about where you at. Like, for one thing, you don't know what's down there. You don't know what's down there at the lake either. People act like the lake is, all the lakes, as my dad taught me, and I know this by heart, all the lakes in the state of Georgia and throughout the South for the most part were created by the Army Corps of Engineers. They built them. They're man-made. They're water reservoirs for water source. That's what they really were made for. That's why they have dams. That's why they dam them up. That's why the water fluctuates with the dam systems and all that. You know what I mean? But they're not built to just be, they're not natural. They were flooded. Like Lake Lanier was flooded. That's the water source for the whole city of Atlanta. West Point covers, of course, LaGrange, parts of Alabama, and everything close by near there on the south end and stuff, that's the water source. And then you like pretty much every other water reservoir you can think of, those were all created. They're not natural, like, but they're all there because of rivers. The source of them is rivers. And in the case of in the two main rivers are the main, you had all the different bodies that connect to those two, but you got the Chattahoochee and you got the Flint. And the Flint technically starts right near Atlanta Airport. It's just a little, stream. Look, that ain't even a stream. It's just a trickle that turns into a river that goes as big and wide and long as the Chattahoochee does in its main parts, but further south, all the way into Florida, just like Chattahoochee go all the way down, So, and then you got the Savannah River, so you got all these rivers, but yeah, man, I love river fishing too. And so I want to get out there. The boat is older. It's had its day of being class. I jokingly tell my pops, I say, man, that's the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars. It's like, it's the legend that will always be revered for its power because it still got it, but it's older to the point where, it ain't what it was when you bought it. When you bought it, it was a Mercedes Benz. Now it's like the I don't know, like Mad Max and Terradome Mercedes Benz. It's like that damn thing is, it's like for years the speedometer does not work. But he knows the boat so well, he knows exactly what speed we going when we would hit Mach 5 and me going, head back to the seat going. Hey, he knows, but I'd be like, man, I don't even know how fast we going right now. But that thing can still get it. That Mercury motor ain't no joke. And it just need to, the motor need to be tuned up, some other stuff. I told him, he told me he need to get another trolling motor, because the old one got some issues. And I remember every time we would go out, it's one of those that's automatic where you just push the little button and it's supposed to do what you tell it to do. It would do it sometimes. Then it would be like, where is it taking us? Oh, what the hell? He had to cut it off, re-rig it, re-signal it. I was like, damn, this thing here. So considering getting another one. And I really want to go electric because that's the future. No matter what all these gas maniacs think, it's going to be electric, whether you like it or not. It's solar or electric. And I wish we could find a solar one because solar is the bomb to me. Come on, it stay hot all the time, mostly anyway. It's always sunny when you don't even want to be out there if it's not a sunny day, so you're going to have a charge. I don't like being on no boat when I know it's going to rain all day. If it's going to rain a little trickle, cool, but when you out there, you want to be out there when it's bright sun. So solar is the bomb, man. I just wish everything was on some solar, but that's another conversation. But yeah, man, brother Blackwell. I don't know if you're still looking, man. Hit the comments. So I know if you're still looking, because I'm kind of talking straight to you. But anyway, I want to hit the river now, and I feel like it's finally the boat is old enough. My dad's up there enough that he's not in my way of some of my suggestions, because some back in the day, not too far ago, like, matter of 10 years ago, I'd have a hard time just telling him, hey man, teach me how to ride this thing. He just, he loves to get behind the wheel on the boat and he want to be the captain all the time. I say, I need to learn how to do this so when you can't, I can drive the damn thing. But now I realize, okay, my dad's getting to the point where like these other elders in my life, when I used to work with seniors, man, that's that last thing they don't want to give up, them car keys and nothing. But they got a boat like that, they don't want to give up none of that. That's that freedom of, I'm the captain, I run this, Well, okay, but you might have to sit back and let me ride you at some point. Let me be the one driving. Can I handle this? Can I do this? So I remember one time not one time, maybe about 3-4 times when we were out, he wouldn't let me, teach me the speed part, which I still say, the hell, if I don't know how to do that, by the time I can ever afford my own boat, I'm gonna have some dude at the damn dealership teaching me how to do all that part, because I want to get it from him. I want to get it from the master that I know, the legend I know, not just some random person I don't even damn know. But anyway, he did show me how to do the basics of just cruising it around to get it up and I put it up on the trailer a few times, stuff like that, But that's easy. It's not hard at all. I mean, it's literally like just boom, boom, boom with it's an automatic. It's like forward, neutral, reverse, period. And then depending on how hard you hitting the gas, you can feel that it'll get up to going. but you got to know enough about the water. And there's the, I forget the name of the things on a boat. Like I say, I don't know, but they control there are these pads that naturally come down to control how fast you're going and even out the boat when it's tipped up too high or too much in the front or the back or whatever, and all this stuff. There's a lot of technical little stuff like that you gotta learn. But yeah, man, but that ain't even gonna be important on the river. And right about now, I just already know, like I say, unless and when, because I will have my day, but you know, I want all that to happen while he's still here. I want to be able to get a boat, but if I can't, I just want to at least be able to get out there with him, show him some of these other things I discovered that even he ain't done the way I've done them. Because if he listening, I know he, man, I've done it. We know you done it all, man. You've done it all. That ain't even what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's places you've not been and ways to go about it you have not done yet. And I want to be able to, you know, it's the son showing the you know, teacher teaches you, and then you become the teacher. You know, it's a circle, man. Let me show you some things. And I can proudly say he understands that after yesterday more than ever. I mean, he's never been against that, but he definitely, because he was teasing me about even going out there, because I kept telling him, I said, now, you know, it's like any place else in the South with a pond or some water, any water, man. You on the lake, there be snakes. Snakes is there. You know, he Indiana Jones. You don't even want to see a snake. And I always laugh. I say, Dad, you can't work, man. What you gonna do? And you know, he quick to be like, you know, I got something for him. I got something for him. I got this. I got that. Yeah. But you can't shoot everywhere. Damn it. You know, you can't shoot everywhere, man. Like, come on, stop pretending you can. You're like, you know, I do what yeah, right. Man, save all the bravado, man. I don't even want to hear it. You ain't about to be shooting nothing in no public park. Ain't nobody about to go to jail over no damn snake that you ain't even had to worry about. All you had to do is see it and keep moving. Anyway, I tell him stories about, man, when I first started at the river, it got to the point where, you know, I know enough about different types of snake species. Man, I used to fish this one spot. It was crazy what I was doing. I always laugh at myself about that, because that was when I first started. I didn't know what the hell I was doing for real. In that way. I knew enough, but I didn't know what I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. I was fishing off this cliff. Because the water where it was looked so damn good. I'm talking about, depending on how high the water was, it could be a day where it was like 3 foot. It could be a day where it'd be up to 12 or 10 rushing by with the heavy current. That's really the stupidest thing. Like, man, you can't keep your damn, I don't care what egg weight. If you ain't got a brick on that line, you ain't not going to stay stable. It's going to roll. It's going to go down river. It's going to get hung in every daggum tree you can't see underwater. It's a hot mess, right? So you always want to be there when it's sunny, not muddy from rain previous days or whatever. Gonna rain hard. That's miserable. Been through that too. And you don't want to have to be standing on the mud. I done all this stuff I'm talking about. I swear I have. And, you know, come out there with some boots and you come back looking like you just walking on some clumps of dirt around your foot. Crazy. But that's not from this cliff so much. From this cliff, you could just slip, and that'd be the other thing. Man, you slip in, you get a big enough fish, pull you in. You going in. You are going in. I ain't got no life vest or nothing on this cliff. So I said, this don't make much sense, right? And then my mom found out I was doing that. She was like, if you don't get you a rope and tether yourself. So that's what I started doing. I would tether myself from this tree. I'm free to be walking around and everything, but I had this rope around my waist just in case. And it got to the point where, like, you know, I'm waiting on a bite. I'm out there doing those things. Y'all can go back and see the video, my old videos on ONYXCON Outdoors Worldwide in that folder. And you'll see me on this cliff. There's even some video where I was leaning just to test my rope and show that I was strong enough, that, you know, my knot was strong enough. I ain't about to go nowhere. But it still was just ridiculous, because even though, I was good with the tether, the two things that woke me up to get off that damn cliff, I messed around one time. I had this reticulated lure. It was a bluegill style lure. It looked like a bluegill. It was about that big. It literally looked like a little bluegill. And it had about 3 sections jointed together. So when I tell you I love lures like this, because the folk who came up with the science, they know what they're doing. This stuff, it looked like a real bluegill swimming. You put that damn thing in the water, man, and you retrieve it, it looked like a bluegill swimming. And I loved it. And I was so lucky. Every time I would throw, I only threw it maybe 2-3 times. And this is how it met its demise. I threw it, and this is when I was still on that cliff. I threw it off. I'm retrieving it. And at a certain point in the cast, I could even see the lure. Because, you know, it would be down deep a little bit. And then, it, you know, because I'm up so high, it would start off down below the murky water where I couldn't see it. And then it would rise up. And I see it going like this. And something just took it. And it disappeared. And I felt the line get tight. I said, oh, man. I said, the hook, homie. Blackwell, you still there? I'm still talking to you? Man, when I tell you this fish, it was a doggone, this is technically, I always say, the first big blue that got away. Big blue catfish. They the monsters, you know, if you don't know. I think the state record is 150. The state record, Blackwell in the house. State record is 150 pounds, brother. If you never seen pictures of this fish, look up the Georgia state record for blue. First of all, when blues get that big sometimes, because I saw a video that proved something to me about that. And this is why I be joking about human stuff and all this mess in the water. I think it's mutating some of these fish. They turn out like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Because the fish look like a daggum, it don't even look, it doesn't look healthy. They so fat and so sloppy looking. They don't have the form. Like a true blue, when they have their proper form, they got the big wide head and then it just tapers all the way to the tail. That's like the shape they should be in their whole life. But when you eating probably, you know, remains of bodies and chemicals and who knows what the hell they done ate and they get that damn big, right? 150 pounds, like, you know. I saw one video, I'm gonna go back to my story in a minute, but I saw one video where this dude, they say to this day, they're not sure. I saw this video with these two guys, they analyze videos where people don't have proof of the fish because the fish got away. And they showed this guy had brought the fish, it was a blue catfish, brought it up next to the boat. The fish was as long as the boat, and the boat had to be at least 15 foot. The boat had to be 15 foot. It was a decent size, like John boat style riverboat. Dude could not get it in the boat. He was struggling with it on camera. You could see the head, it was thrashing. I'm like, good gracious alive. But the craziest thing is when the body would be surfaced on the back, you could see this fish was in full form. It still had it was a very healthy monster. Like it never lost its streamline to the tail. It still had that. But it was just a giant. And that's why I realized, man, they can look normal. It depends on what water and what they're eating and stuff like that. Anyway, so the blues out there at the Chattahoochee where I be fishing, not to say that, you know, it's down from the city, so everything down from the city, unfortunately, has a certain level of contamination, unless it's been filtered through the dam, because dams help with that a little bit, or the rock systems, because there's different rock systems in the Chattahoochee and some other stuff that in certain areas it's less contamination. But you still down from all the mess, you know. The wealthiest folk done put out, they done made they shit look like a damn swimming pool. Bro, have you ever been above the city? I went up there one time, a few times actually. I've never seen the Chattahoochee look so beautiful. Now if it's raining, it looks like it always look muddy and stuff. But if you get it and it ain't been raining, it looked like a swimming pool. It was that bluish green and it was clear. I thought I was on another planet, bro. I was like, this can't be Atlanta. This is crazy as hell. What is this? This is the Chattahoochee? I thought I was dreaming. I got video of that too, one of my older videos. Absolutely insane. I've never seen the water that clear, but it's always a view above Sandy Springs. Like all up there where they put in the trout that ain't even native. People, you can go trout fishing. Ain't no trout native to that water. They put those trout in. Way the hell back in I think it was in the 60s when I did my research. 50s or 60s. It's that old when they did that. They put in the rainbow trout, they put in the brown trout, and neither one of them are native fish of Georgia. Because they want their little playground for fly fishermen, which no diss to fly as in and of itself. And if you like it, you love it, fine. I got a homeboy, black brother, who I interviewed, Miki Miko. Shout out to Michi Miko. He's a legendary visual artist, but he's also an angler, major. And I interviewed him years ago, and he makes his own flies and everything. Michi the truth. And he purposefully got into it just from that whole elitism, like, oh, y'all think we can't do this? Well, I'm gonna do it, goddamn. And he's good. He's great. You know, he knows how to fly fish on every level. But I tried fly. My dad even got into it a little bit when we was young, and I tried it because he had a rod. And I was like, this is, it looks cool. I ain't gonna front. It looks cool when you whipping it and all that, but nah, I'm good. I'm good. Cause he said, I fished the river up 400 once. The current was too strong. Man, the current ain't no joke, man. It's all about the current. You got to find places where the current ain't crazy. Where I go, it can be crazy, depending on how much rain has happened. It's all about the rain. If the rain or the dams, depending on who done let loose something at the dam upstream, that affects it. And then, of course, rain. Between them two things, but there's I forget the name of the site. It's the Georgia USGA. If you just look up US Georgia something for the Chattahoochee, it'll give you up to date on the minute, like right now, in every area of it breaks it off into areas like, okay, this and that bridge, that dam, whatever, so you know exactly what district of the Chattahoochee you're in, and it'll tell you how high it is, how low it is, what the current is, all of that. And you need that information if you're messing with the river. You got to know that stuff before you go out, because it ain't even worth wasting no time. You get out there and you all disappointed. You can't even fish in it. Like you say, the current crazy. You don't know where your thing is. You can't feel a bite if it happens. And none of that's fun. And then it depends on what you're fishing for. When I go where I go, I purposely, that's when I say it ain't about no meal out there. I mean, I'm not going to say I've never ate a fish from that area I'm in, because I have caught a couple of young blue catfish, and I'm gonna finish my blue catfish story. But I don't eat them. Like, my biggest fish to life is a 24/7, and then another solid 24 pound solid blue catfish. But the biggest one was 24 pounds, 7 ounces, and I love that because I always say that's 24/7. That's what I do. I do it 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week, baby. Whether I'm there or not, I'm thinking about it. I'm figuring it out. I gotta go fishing, right? So, yeah, 24/7 was the one that really made me become a river fisherman. Like, I love this. I understand the life. That's when everything made sense about River Monsters, the show that I loved anyway. But Jeremy Wade became more of a legend to me because I understood what he was going through to do that show. Man, it's real. So back to my quick story about that giant that hit that reticulated lure. So it was this, like I said, it looked like a bluegill. What the hell going on with this order? I'm waiting on this order. They taking forever. This is really bad today. They don't have nobody working. That's what's going on. Anyway, reticulated lure, swim like a real bluegill. That thing got hit. Man, it's the biggest blue catfish I ever seen in my life. Cause I'm above it. I can see it to this day. I can remember it thrashing in the water and going in circles. Cause I can't do nothing. I'm up a cliff. I can't get it up. There's no way in this. There's no way I'm gonna pop this line. There's no way. I don't care how strong your line. And back then, and I love braided line, but I didn't have braided line. I had some kind of some. You know, it was heavy. It was like 80 pound, thick as hell. You know, ocean grade monofilament, but still. So what? You on a cliff? Physics is against me. There was nothing that was gonna get that fish up that damn cliff. And I promise you it was more than 24 pounds and 7 ounces. I think that was the biggest catfish, biggest fish so far I ever hooked into for sure. That thing had to be 30. And he was long and streamlined, not sloppy fat, like I say they can look. I saw his head, his body. He was, man, I'm talking, he was tearing water up, going crazy. Godzilla was underneath that cliff. And all I could do was say, I see you. I know I saw you. And I had to take my knife and just, you know, just had to let it go, man. I was so hurt. I was so freaking hurt. Because not only did I lose the fish, I lost that lure. That was one of my favorite. I didn't that lure running around in his mouth until, you know, it rust up and fall out, you know. Damn. And I tell you, the same thing happened again. I've never technically caught, I may have caught a little one when I was young. My dad always say I've caught them. You've caught that. You know, they always remember what you can't remember. You caught a flathead, man. You caught a flathead. I say, yeah, but I don't remember it. You caught a flathead at such and such, blah, 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 with the camp, with the boys, with y'all, something we were doing when I was a counselor with y'all, with the English Institute. And I can't remember what he talking about or where we were, but he said I caught a flathead too. So I love the way they look, and I always wanted to catch a flathead in my adult life. So I hooked into one on that same damn cliff. And that's the first time I lost a fish on that cliff. And I said, never again. I'm done with this. It was like the first one was that, and then there was that giant blue, and I was done. I was like, this is crazy. Why am I on this cliff? Because same thing happened. It was down at the bottom. I had it to the point where I wore it out, and it was just like, hooking in. He just like, he up against the cliff. I could see that, man, the head was like this. The head was like, I said, good gracious. And and it was golden, and he had like some kind of weird discoloration on the top of his flat head, like a patch of dark chocolate color. It looked like somebody, like he had scraped his head and it healed or something. I don't know what had happened to him. He had been through some war. But that man, damn. I can still see that fish. Had to lose that one too. He said he still remember the fish. The flathead he caught. Yeah, man. Yeah, all kinds of. And that was probably the Flint River. And if you're talking about the picture with the fish with the mouth open with the daggum Quaker State motor oil can in his mouth to show how big his mouth was, that was technically, if it's that picture. I mean, Dad done caught all this, of course. But that picture technically was a guy that my grandfather knew who came up to the house and just wanted us to show us the fish. And we was all like, the hell you done caught? Like, he had it in the trunk. Oh, man. Hold on for a second. Man, it's going to be a minute, y'all. I got to load up this order. Gotta load up this order, so it's gonna be a minute. But this is why I be saying, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe so I ain't gotta be doing all this other nonsense. I can just talk my fish stories, take y'all with me, travel, live the life we supposed to live. Show y'all this art life for real. But I'll be back. Hold tight. All right, y'all. Let's see. There we go. All right, now we rolling. What's up, y'all? Sorry it took so long for me to get back in, but I had to do what I had to do. I swear. I'm tired of saying that, though. I really am. I'm so I couldn't say so enough times. I had to say my words. I'd have to say so 365 times just to get the wheel rolling on how many more times I'd like to say so, like, tired of doing all this other stuff other than what I'm really here to contribute to this lifetime. I'm here to share with y'all the best of this creative perspective on how to live. See, the art life is being creative in everything you do. Some people hear the word art and they think they know what it means. They don't really understand the levels of what art really is. But I am an artist for life. I was born to do what I do as a creative. I'm here to contribute that, And just make sure you subscribe. That's all I can keep saying. Because, I mean, like every other YouTuber, but truly no, when they say that, man, they mean that. If you like somebody's content, you're doing yourself as a fan, supposed fan, no favors by not hitting the subscribe button. I don't even understand the psychology of how somebody can. I mean, all I can say is I think people really just be doing other stuff. They cut it on, they get to doing other stuff. They get in the habit of they like your stuff. So, see, you're going to come up in the algorithm because once you watch, I'm going to keep coming up. You see any of my content, I'm going to keep coming up. You're going to keep seeing ONYXCON. And you'll be like, oh, yeah, I like that. So you'll watch it, but I know from experience, and I had to check myself about that because I ain't like that. That was the worst feeling when I started doing YouTube for real, and I'm trying to reach certain financial goals with this, get the AdSense so that we can maintain, so we can buy equipment, so we can take trips, so we can do the interviews, so we can do all the stuff we do anyway, but can't afford to do much on sometimes, or had to put off and can't do it all because you don't have a budget. So I've been the person much younger in my YouTube experience. I was a whole lot younger in it all. And I used to watch some of my favorite people, and I had not hit the like button. I'm sitting up there watching hours of them talking and loving it and enjoying it. Hit freaking like. Keep saying hit that. But like, what's so hard that you're doing? And then I know what it would be. Like I got a lot of time. I'm doing dishes. I'm doing. So by the time I stop doing dishes, stop cooking, stop whatever I'm doing. The video's over, and I go on to the next thing. But oh, not once your numbers, people that watching your stuff regularly are not subscribers. It's like, man, or not even liking. That's not cool. That's not cool at all, man. It's so anti-productive of the whole process and point of us being on this thing. You included. Like, you're really self-defeating if you say you enjoy it. If you're somewhere in your heart you understand and love this content, you're killing it every time you don't like. You're killing it every time you have not subscribed. You must subscribe, and you should be liking everything you watch. And I try to make a habit of that. I don't even wait to do it at the end of a video. If it's somebody I already rock with you, why would I not hit that button? It's automatic. If I'm watching Ace live, like. As soon as the video starts, like. Whatever Ace doing, I'ma like it. So I like it. Like. That's it. That's it. You know, if I'm watching Zoe International Zoe, shout out Zoe, like. You know? Even when he says something in the video I might not agree with, it don't matter. I know I'm gonna be back for the most part. I rock with this brother. I like his content. Why am I acting like I'm not gonna like it? In general, if 90% of the time I'm liking what they got to say, if 75% of the time I'm liking what you're saying, doing, whatever it may be, like I say, we ain't gotta agree all the way across the board. Just if I'm 75% likable in any way, like and subscribe. Period. That's the reality, y'all. That's the reality. That's the only thing gonna make it work. And we here to work. Y'all want to see a brother in Brazil? You want to see all of the various types of content, from the fishing to the hiking to the beaches to the beautiful, 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 beautiful women. Lord have mercy. Okay? To the landscape in general, mountains and jungles and all. Like, subscribe. It's simple and plain. It all adds up. It all gonna help us get on that plane, make this thing do what it do. So back to more of my fishing stories, what I was saying. I was talking about being at the river and how, like, I had to evolve with that process, how I used to do it dangerously, fishing off a cliff and all this, and I got videos to prove it. I said, it just didn't make no sense. I'm like, man, you can't land a fish unless you land a fish. You got to be able to get down to it and have a fish grip for the lips, you know, get that grip on it, or if it's something you can grab with your hands, grab. Most stuff in the river, you ain't making first contact with your hand. You're going to use a gripper, get it in that mouth, a guard, please. But, and I'm about to buy me some plastic grips. I used to not want the plastic because I don't know, it's just psychologically. You think, oh, it's such a ominous looking creature. I know it's so tough, and it is. It's really tough. It's really hard. But one thing about a guard, that pouch area of their bottom jaw is probably the only part of their body exposed that's not hard. It's kind of like somewhat leathery, like it is on most fish that have that part of their mouth structure. But it's easy to tear. It's like on a bass where a hook hits them when they're young and they end up with a little hole there where you poked them. You know, you can do that to a guard easily with a pair of metal grippers like I have right now. And it's the kind that's got the extendable weighing, so when you hang it, the weight naturally pulls it out and you can see the reading. It's not digital, it's manual. But I learned from doing that. First of all, no fish wants to be turned like that and hung by his mouth for long. That's what makes them go crazy every time you do that. So it's always best to hold them by their belly, support them, and they're still gonna flinch, but they might flinch less and slightly less violently if you're holding them correctly and keeping them stable enough while you're doing your stuff. So yeah, you can do big catfish, any of them giant monsters like that. I have something that they can lay on, so the belly is supported, and then at the top I bring two things together, and you got loop, and you got that little hook for your weighing device. You put that in there, and you pull that, and you beep, get them in. All right, cool. Let them out. Release. Simple and plain. It ain't simple, but it's easier than all this other craziness. But if you're going to use a fish grip, the lip grip thing, just to start the process, because you will need that still, okay? And you're going to need some long, hardcore pliers, needle nose pliers, the long ones, the kind that you use when you trying to get down in the engine, you can't fit your hand down there. That's the kind you need dealing with gar. And for them catfish, because when they get really big, they got them bristles turn into teeth, especially on big blues. I know this for real. So what I'm gonna do, like I said, because of everything I'm talking about, I want to get some plastic ones, the hard, big, the biggest ones I can grab, plastic ones with the widest gripping areas, so they can fit on any kind of giant lip or whatever. And for a gar, it's perfect because, you know, they don't, now I know from experience, man, if a gar don't want to open his mouth, it's not going to open. That gar going to be stubborn. I had one time, I could not get the hook for nothing. I finally got it out, but it took forever. He was just like, I ain't wasn't going to open for me to get the hook out. Crazy. Hilarious too. I made a real funny video about that. But my goal is just to, you know, have something plastic, like, you know, plastic grip, the real big one. Because probably the most deadly fish I ever held like that was a bonnethead or shovelhead shark that was 15 pounds at least. And that beautiful thing, man, oh my gosh. I love sharks. Absolutely amazing. And that was the first time I'd ever really touched a shark. And it felt like sandpaper. It was so cool. It's not slimy at all like most people think. Sharks have a different type of skin. It's like, if you ever seen a diagram of what their skin looks like up close, it's like an interlocking system of these little toothy structures that's what you feel when you touch it. It feels like sandpaper. It's crazy. It's crazy. They don't have the mucus on the outside like, you know, like a catfish or any, you know, regular bony fish with scales. They don't have none of that. They got their own skin type. It's amazing. And so, but the captain on that particular charter, he had these real thick, long, they was at least about like 13-inch long grippers. They plastic. And he put that on it, clamp, you know. It's like, and I thought about that. I was like, he didn't use the metal. Well, think about it. A shark's mouth, first of all, it's like way bigger than any of these other fish I'm talking about in freshwater stuff. Now, this was brackish water, but still. And even though it wasn't the biggest, it was a nice size one with some nice sized teeth, you know, and it's a bunch of them, like man, what, probably 50, 60 something teeth on each top and bottom row, 100 and something teeth in there. And so if the grip is just beyond the teeth and clamps down like it did, you ain't got to worry about it. It wasn't shifting or nothing. It's like up against those teeth, it was not moving. All I had to do was hold those grips and then support the fish so it ain't going crazy. And as soon as I let it back into work, as soon as I popped the release on that clutch, yeah. Shout out to Blackwell, man. Was in my comments up in here in my live earlier. That's one of my little brothers right there, man. Not like quote unquote blood brothers, but we are at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Forever and a day. That's some young folks from Atlanta, man, that I made a major impression on their lives, him and others that were part of my dad's thing when we were growing up. When I was growing up, he had a nonprofit called the Anglers Institute. And we literally used to take kids from Section 8 homes, you know, some of the so-called worst neighborhoods of Atlanta, Capitol Homes. I forget the other. I do remember Capitol. And I can't even remember where Harold was in that equation, which neighborhood he was. There was about 3 or 4 neighborhoods we would pick up the kids from. And we take them fishing out the city, getting them away from all that, showing them a different reality, man. And made an incredible impression on a bunch of lives. And of all I think it was like over 100 kids total in the history of it, because it lasted maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't want to say wrong. My dad would know specifics, but it was amazing. And I did it mostly when I was in college as a counselor. I was one of the main counselors for the kids, and a great example, you know, for them growing up and seeing a different reality of somebody who grew up the way I did, with the way my dad is and my mom and how our family system is. and I'm very proud of that, man. And all those kids didn't make it per se, but the ones who did, like Harold,